Destination mark.
Hey guys, how's it going? Marcel here and featuring once again
Gman Rocks. Hello, what's up my little mans and little womans?
And oh my god, how much time has passed since the last podcast. Even if you haven't seen any of our previous videos on our channel, you're finding us for the first time, or if you are coming to this podcast from the last one, we did it! Crash is back
in January. Yep, let's just get that right out of the way. Crash is officially back, but the first podcast that we recorded that was all Crash Bandicoot related, to wondering the possibility, speculation of all the teases and rumors, hoping and trying to figure out if he actually was going to appear at E3 2016. That was all filmed back in January, so now here we are in November, almost right towards the end of this year, and so much has happened, but at this point, I'm sure all the Crash fans already know, because they saw the big E3 conference for Sony. They already know that Crash is finally back. He's back in the gaming industry. He's relevant again, and it's all thanks to Vicarious Visions getting back to the IP after so many years, ever since they said goodbye after they made the Crash GBA games, as well as Nitro Kart. And also, not only him showing up in Skylanders Imaginators, which everyone already knows all our opinions about it because they saw our impressions videos as well as our unboxing videos, so they know that we approve of what they did with Crash and Cortex and the Thumpin' Wampa Islands level. But now, of course, we got to get to the meat of the bone, because Skylanders Imaginators Crash, that was just a little cake, little taste test, because the real meat, the real chocolate sundae on top of the cake is what Sean Layden said, and I quote, at the conference: Crash 1, Crash 2, and Crash Warped, fully remastered from the ground up for PlayStation 4. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this podcast today. Also related to the fact that since PlayStation Experience is literally in just 3 more weeks, we're also going to be speculating and questioning the possibility of many rumors and teases speculating throughout the entire web right now, because all the PlayStation gamers are trying to figure out not only Crash's side, but also if other iconic first-party franchises from Sony might actually make an appearance or might get announced to make a big grand return.
Yeah, we've got like a little list running down here of the stuff we're going to go over, and we're going to lead off first and foremost with what else? The Crash Remastered games. So, yeah, let's not really beat around the bush. If you already know what's going on, then awesome. We don't have to catch anyone up to speed. If you don't know what's going on because you've been living under a rock or something, I'll just give like the most briefest synopsis. Briefest? I don't know if that's a word. I'll give the most brief synopsis. At E3, yeah, they announced Crash 1, 2, and 3 being remastered, and they also for PS4, and they also announced Crash being a Skylanders Imaginators. Johnny got it, I got it, because I was curious to see how they handled it. And playing the Thumpin' Wampa Islands, it was really good. I did a first impressions video, and I'm pretty sure you also did your own video on your thoughts and opinions, right, Johnny?
I did my unboxing video, and then I did a full playthrough live stream. So for those who just still haven't seen it yet, then go check all of it out. All of our Crash-related videos from last month on our separate YouTube channels.
Yeah, I'll be putting links down below.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he also made a guest appearance in the very, very tail end of episode 10 of the new Skylanders Academy Netflix series. And he has his own episode dedicated to him in the next episode, episode 11, which is the second to last episode
Crash Landing.
Season 1.
Yeah. So
that was insane to see. And let me just also say, let's get all the salty crap out of the way first before we really get into the more hype moments for this podcast. Why are people still bitching about the voice? I know he doesn't talk normally, and I know that, like, we all know this. We all know that Crash is a silent protagonist, and if he ever talks, it's through Jess Harnell's babbles or, you know, Steve
gibberish,
Bloom's, you know, certain exclamations in Nitro Kart. But, like, in this episode, he speaks with an Australian accent, which is not new if you've seen that Crash 2 ad from back in the day, that infamous one.
Yep. Whoa! It's hi guys, I'm Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So, it's not a new thing, but because, we haven't heard him do anything of the sort in quite some time, having this happen again has, produced a shock to lots of fans.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, not everyone is lashing out negatively about this, but there are still some people that are, and it's like, come on, guys. He's not gonna talk like that in the remasters. It's not gonna spread to anything else. Jess Harnell is Crash in Imaginators, but it's like whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah, just get over it, people.
Get over it is what I'm trying to say.
Because I've made this statement along with Jeremiah when he made his own separate opinions video expressing how he felt regarding the episode having Crash appear in a cartoon with Spyro synchronized at the same time, because this is the first time we ever seen them in media outside of video games. So for them to show up in a cartoon in an episode for this one special occasion, it was honestly something grand and special, rather than people immediately hating it just because, oh, Crash talks and he has an Australian accent. But people, what type of animal is Crash? He's a bandicoot. It's a marsupial, and they live in Australia. And also, this isn't the first time that Crash has talked, because as Mark just stated, he had a voice in that 3D CGI promo ad for Crash 2 back in 97, and then there's been countless times in previous games in the past where he actually spouted out real words. Like, obviously, from time to time, he always says his iconic, "Whoa, whoa!" But there were times, especially in the modern Crash era with Radicals games, that he did actually speak a few words clearly. So this isn't the first time he's ever talked, and people, you have to just get over the fact that Crash is in the 21st century on next-gen gaming. Times have changed. The gaming industry is not back to the golden age that it was in the 90s. That the Crash franchise has honestly been through a struggle ever since it first started. And it's honestly not suffered, but throughout the years, ever since after Naughty Dog's departure, in terms of sales and popularity and reviews, that's when the franchise clearly showed that it fell off the map when it came to keeping consistency with milking sequels, is also trying to please every single fan. Like, it's just not possible. So some things happen out of nowhere that you don't want really to happen, but you just have to accept it for what it is and move on, whether you like it or not.
Pretty much. Of course, one thing, now we're going to switch over to the remasters, and of course, off the bat, I do hope that they keep him mostly silent. He is silent in, Imaginators, besides, some grunts and some babble here and there, like when you go into the upgrade menu and all that, which it's very, very more downplayed in Imaginators, which is pretty fine, because, not everyone is a fan of the babbling, and even it comes and goes for me. Like, I have to be in a certain mood to, like, really accept that he talks like that, quote unquote. But, for the most part, especially in the original trilogy, he's very, very silent, besides his "whoa" and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that they keep it like that, for the most part. Even if they have Jess Harnell redo it or something, I don't know. As long as he doesn't, have to grunt while doing everything, while jumping, while spinning, or something like that. Keep him primarily silent, because that's one of the perks that made him such a memorable character back in the day. So, I mean, how you were saying times have changed, yes, but that is, like, just one element I would like to, kind of have them revisit. Just keep them primarily silent. But speaking now about PlayStation Experience 2016, yes, it happens on the 3rd and 4th of December, so that is not too far away from, the time of this recording.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we noticed immediately was that Activision will be making an appearance at the event, and we're thinking, what else would they be showing besides Call of Duty than Crash Remasters? So I'm really hoping that that's what happens.
Yeah, don't even get me started. Don't make me laugh if Activision comes out and starts saying, hey, here's some more DLC news about Infinite Warfare.
Jeez.
Yeah, don't make me laugh.
God.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, sure. So obviously...
I will say this... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, obviously, the remastered collection, obviously, for all of the Crash fans out there, we have high expectations. We're really excited. We're anticipated to hear the latest news announcement that accidentally gets leaked on the web, or Sony, Vicarious Visions, and Activision just flat out confirm out of nowhere. either before or after PlayStation Experience official conference happens for about 2 hours. So we're going to see what happens, but due to the fact that it was confirmed literally just yesterday, because Sony of Canada and all around on Twitter released an official schedule showing off all of these developers and publishers that are actually going to be making appearance at this big PlayStation Experience booth conference to show off all the announcements for all of their games and projects that they're currently still developing. And since Activision was on the list, and they're the publisher and owners of Crash, that's why, most likely, if it's not a trailer, they could still show off screenshot images of the progress that Vicarious Visions made so far, having Crash 1, 2, and 3 remastered at 1080p 60 frames per second running on a PS4 or a PS4 Pro. There could still be, maybe some slight, subtle teases talking about, oh, hey, here's what's gonna happen that you could expect to see, or here's maybe some new features that we're actually gonna include in this remastered collection that wasn't in any of Naughty Dog's original PS1 classics. So keep in mind, there's so many things that they could possibly do. It's just that still we're trying to speculate on what could actually happen. So either way, I'll still be satisfied and happy to see whatever they decide to show us, but in the end, if they don't show us anything, I'm not going to be too upset, because I know that they're still working hard to make it be accomplished, and when it hits store shelves next year, it's going to please every single Crash fan. So whatever they decide to do, I'm open for it.
Yeah, the thing is that they... apparently there's a leaked release date of February 28th.
Yeah.
That apparently coincides with Horizon Zero Dawn's release date, so I don't know if...
Yeah, nothing's confirmed yet.
True.
Yeah, it's just a rumor. Nothing's officially confirmed yet, so at PlayStation Experience, maybe they could give us a price, they could give us a release date, they could say maybe even if they want to do some DLC or a collector's edition for the game, you never know. Sony could do that if they work with Activision and Vicarious Visions, because they know they got to make that money. So, one way or another, they have something secretly in mind, in plan, that they're going to show us one way or another, whether it's at the Experience booth this year or early next year.
I also wanted to throw something in. I was saying earlier, like, I'll give Sony one thing back from E3. I don't know if I've said this before on camera or like in a video or anything, but the way they did portray, the way they showed off Infinite Warfare is actually way better than Microsoft's ever done. So,
yeah, that's
I don't
true.
know, points to Sony for that, I guess. But,
yeah.
You already know that at some point or another, in one way or another, they will probably show off Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But with the fact that we now have, it's out in the open, it's no secret that Crash is back, and that these two projects have been announced. One's already out, the other's still in production. I really, really think that they're going to show off. Now comes the speculation, like how are they going to show it off, and what will they show off from this, if anything at all, which I hope that they do show off something. So if they do show off something for the remasters, what I'm hoping is that they show off a cinematic trailer, the same way they did with Crash and Skylanders back in E3. At the very least, either what I'm speculating is they'll either show some gameplay, just as a quick little tease for us who will be live streaming it, and then maybe they'll even make it available on the show floor to those who like a quick demo of. I'm not even sure. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Hold on, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Maybe they'll have it on the show floor for people who are actually attending the event.
It'd be cool.
And I also want to mention real quick that I really, really wanted to start planning out a trip to Anaheim for this.
And I was literally... Whoa, wait a minute. Let's back up, because literally as you were talking about how it could possibly appear at PlayStation Experience this year, I was actually going to ask you, when it was my turn to talk, if you wanted to share your story about how you were actually planning on going to this event. Perfect timing, so now go ahead and tell the people.
I'm not going to say all the details, but I was really wanting to, plan a trip over there to Anaheim, because I don't live too far away from Anaheim. So I was like, I looked up, on one of the main sites on PlayStation site, how much it was going to cost, and it's not actually that much. I'll probably link it down below for you guys to see if you guys want to go. But seeing as you have to be 18 or over, I surely well am, but my brother isn't, and there's no way we can fake him to be 18 or over, because I'm not about that. I'm not gonna freaking try to give him like a fake ID or anything, so there's no way we can make that happen. And immediately off the bat, if my brother can't go, there's a good chance that I'm not gonna go. If it was a family trip, and most of my friends are gonna be busy, no doubt, during that weekend. So with, time, with scheduling, with money, seeing as it takes 4 hours from my location to get there to Anaheim, and the convention opens at okay, I gotta miss a trim, Gman. At 10 a.m. Yeah, it doesn't seem likely that I'll be able to show up. I would like to, because trust me, if I were able to go, and they showed off the remasters.
Yeah, you've stated this numerous times. Alright, let me tell you guys something, for everyone watching right now. This dude right here has stated this numerous times in previous Skype calls that we did for fun or regards to working on our fan film project. He stated so many times to me that he would love to go so madly to PlayStation Experience this year, and he said, oh, if they showed off a CGI trailer for the Crash Bandicoot HD Remastered Collection and announcing that there's actually a beta demo playable on the show floor, oh, you can bet your ass I'll be down there immediately. I'll haul ass to the show floor and get ready to record. Yep, and do a small little Q&A with the developers. Yeah.
Oh, I would. I totally would.
Yeah.
Not just, for me, but for everyone who's in our little group of friends and of fans of us, and we're fans of them, and vice versa, who won't be able to show up either. If one of us were to be able to have gone, it's coverage not just for us, and it's not just us being like, well, I need to find out everything because whatever, but it's like we could totally let people know via our videos, our vlogging videos of being there, that this is what's going down, this is what's happening, this is what it looks like, a little early sneak peek, if they even allow us to do that. Because you know how it is, how we try to show off stuff, and we know this the hard way, especially me, seeing as I got 2 strikes on my channel earlier this year.
But luckily,
Uncharted info.
But luckily, they got removed, so now you don't have to worry anymore.
Thank God. Yeah, I know. So yeah, that's the whole thing about being in Anaheim and how all that stuff's going down.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what we were talking about before that story, though. Funny enough, because we did have to pause our recording. So let me, I guess, kind of backtrack. Let's backtrack to the people who will be making an appearance. Oh no! Wait. I remember what I was gonna say. I'm saying that if they show off a trailer, what I'm speculating is they'll show off a trailer,
mm-hmm.
and they'll have some gameplay. One of the things I was going to mention, I remember now, was how much of each game will they be showing?
Yeah.
If all 3 at once.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll just tease the first game. Maybe they'll just tease 2. Maybe they'll just tease Warps.
Or what they could
Maybe
do.
They'll tease all 3.
What they could do, since this is a collection pack after all of an entire trilogy from original developers who created it, what they should do and what they could possibly do is view the screen way back out and have multiple 3 screens pop at once to advertise that all 3 games are going to be running at 1080p 60 frames per second and have some new features here and there, so that way they can show off gameplay progress for what they developed and created so far for 1, 2, and 3.
Oh my god, I also just thought of something else.
What?
Okay. I remember how we did this a little bit coming to the end of the last podcast when we were speculating in what kind of, imaginary way in our heads that we could see, like Sean Layden or whoever, announce Crash coming back to E3. So I'm going to do a little something like that. I'll set up a little scenario for how they could do this.
Mm-hmm.
At PSX. You can probably hear me smiling. If that's even possible, I have this image in my head. So imagine that you're there, and they show off whatever the hell they show off. It's Call of Duty, I don't care. Whatever they show off before the announcement. When the announcement comes,
mm-hmm.
we hear the music.
Yep.
We hear the familiar...
The live orchestra warped theme.
Don't pay no attention to it.
Yep, from E3.
Yeah.
The exact same tune.
So they They start the music. It says, it says Sony, it says Activision and all them. It says Vicarious Visions.
Oh.
And they show off, bam, just the first, the logo of the first game. They show it off remastered, and we just see some snippets, fast snippets of the gameplay of what certain levels will look like. No doubt they can start with Insanity Beach, that first, iconic start to that level.
Yeah.
They show off what that looks like. They kind of go through, they show a little bit of Crash collecting the Aku Aku masks and all that. Maybe what the invincibility looks like, all that kind of stuff. And they just show off snippets. Maybe they'll show off, the hog levels, Papu Papu. They'll show off, Slippery Climb. They'll just show off snippets of certain levels throughout the game, but how it looks remastered. And then it'll cut off, bam, Crash 2. Show off the jetpack levels. Show off, those kinds of levels. And the ruins levels and whatever else, just quick snippets of the bonus rounds, the death routes and all that. And then bam, Crash Warped, and then it shows off Coco's jet ski levels, or even the Great Wall of China levels, and it shows off the motorcycle levels, the plane levels, the futuristic levels. It'll just, again, the quickest of snippets, and then bam, it'll say Crash Remastered, and it'll probably give out the release date, and then it'll say available on the show floor. Maybe you'll only have a couple levels from each, or maybe even just the first game as a playable demo on the show floor. But that's kind of what I have in my head of how they can do it.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It could possibly happen, you never know, but honestly, it's up to the developers and publishers themselves if they really want to make this announcement at the right time now for PlayStation Experience, or it also depends on how much progress they actually made developing this remastered collection, because that's one thing that everyone has to keep in mind. Remember back at E3 when this announcement happened? Remember Sean Layden's quote, fully remastered from the ground up? Keep in mind, he said remastered from the ground up. So that means built from scratch, that they're completely starting over from all of the great classics that we had over the years from 1996 all the way to 1998 from 1, 2, and 3. It's not simply, people, just 3 games snatched off of a PlayStation emulator and then slapped on a disc for $60, or however Sony actually wants to promote this collection for a decent price. But if it's being remastered from the ground up, then obviously it's not just going to be graphics that are going to look different. The voice acting could be different. The story could be a little different. There could be tweaks to the gameplay, as well as maybe fixing some minor glitches that we noticed back while playing and replaying over and over again the original Naughty Dog classics. They could have a full orchestra soundtrack. They could include new bonus challenge features besides, just having gems and relics from 2 and 3, as well as 1. They could even also have us do challenges to get trophies, or what they also could do that would instantly sell the game even more copies is if you beat 1, 2, and 3, 100%, getting all trophies, accomplishing all challenges, and beating all 3 games 100% will unlock CTR as a bonus game, and that's fully remastered from the ground up with online racing. Now that would be the best idea for a HD remastered collection.
Shit, I didn't even think about trophy support.
Yeah.
I don't know what kinds of trophies they'll have.
Yeah, you never know. There's so many possibilities.
No doubt one of them is to find fake Crash and Warped.
Yeah, I guarantee that much.
Hilarious.
It's going to be hard, because you still have to beat the game 105% just to see that Easter egg in a few levels, but I guarantee if that's going to be a trophy, I know already some of the biggest Crash fans are out there are going to try to 100% 1, 2, and 3 just to get every trophy, just for bragging rights.
There's something else I was going to mention. So, do you have a hypothetical little imaginary scenario of how they can show off what they'll show off, or how they'll do this if it is in fact at PSX?
It's pretty much similar to what you just stated in your opinion. How they would announce it is that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we go into another project, and it ends up being an Activision project worked with Vicarious Visions, and that's how you know immediately, boom, Crash Bandicoot HD Remastered Collection. We can hear the classic theme songs playing in the background, and then it'll just go back and show off multi-screen events taking place of gameplay screenshots from 1, 2, and 3, showing it off as a huge trailer for the audience, and there you go. Boom. Solved and promoted well enough.
Nice. Yeah, there are many things, many things to take into consideration with these remastered games, seeing as Josh Mansell has vocally spoken up and clearly stated officially that he has nothing to do with
the remastered collection. He didn't get
part of the remastered games.
He didn't get contacted back. So what does that tell you? They could either get a brand new composer to compose new songs for 1, 2, and 3, or what they could do is at the E3 announcement, remember how we heard the Crash Bandicoot Warped theme song get fully orchestrated? What if every single song from 1, 2, and 3 was in full orchestra?
That'd be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I would just hope that they would keep, there is a certain charisma that Mansell's pieces have in the original trilogy. So whoever comes on board and however they do it, I hope that if they don't, try and take direct inspiration from using the exact same kinds of, instruments and that stuff, because those were just MIDI, looping samples that, he used. So
yeah.
One thing I even remember him saying in, I think it was an interview or some kind of article some time ago, was that he would even like to hear those original pieces be redone, re-performed, but with those actual instruments in a live recording. So the instruments that he used, which were just MIDI recordings, he would like to hear someone redo the songs with those instruments live. That would be awesome to hear too. And even seeing as where's I going with this? He had the pre-console mixes, which sounded very, very good and like actual instruments anyway.
Yep.
So, okay, we have to level with you guys for a minute. We are filming this podcast actually, instead of in one straightforward go in one day, we're actually recording this in 2 days worth of time. So,
2 days later.
This is day 2. So yeah, and I'm actually kind of, we were both kind of glad that that's what ended up happening, because in between, it was a couple days time between that last recording of which you guys just heard, the last couple minutes of the podcast, and then right now is day 2. It's a good thing we had that little time, that a couple days that we didn't really record the podcast, because some things happened. So go ahead and explain what happened.
Well, recently, for the past few days, on Twitter, from official Sony Computer Entertainment accounts, and also from the CEO and president in charge of it all, from behind all of the magic that goes on at Sony's headquarters running PlayStation, the boss in charge, Shuhei Yoshida, we've actually been getting recent teases non-stop throughout all of Twitter that's actually been making us start to circulate and also speculate and wonder if it's actually going to live up to our expectations, because literally we only have one more full week to go through before PlayStation Experience this year starts, and on December 3rd we're still trying to figure out all these little puzzle pieces that Sony likes to tease and drop the news to us early as their usual yearly tradition, to throw out little hints there so that way the fans can start speculating as to what's actually going to be shown and what's not going to be shown. So we're going to have a lot more to talk about that recently just came out.
Yeah. So have you gone over any of the actual stuff, or because you just mentioned the tweets? Did you mention what they were about though?
Yeah, we can mention the fact that most of these tweets, most of the, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. And also, for those wondering, yes, I actually am a little bit off in my voice, because I actually am sick and I'm recovering from the flu. So that's why a few times, if you hear me cough or have to blow my nose back up, it's because I'm recovering, so just excuse that. Mm-hmm. But for the recent tweets and rumors that recently popped up on the web from Twitter, it's all relating to 3 specific franchises: Crash Bandicoot, PaRappa the Rapper, and Ape Escape. So, do you want me to go right into it, all 1, 2, and 3, or do you want to talk about it first in your opinions?
I guess we could take turns. I have to also remember what went down. I remember the Crash one. I can go over the Crash one. You can go over Ape Escape and PaRappa.
All right, go right ahead.
So what I remember seeing, I'm trying to find it too. I guess since we're on Skype, if you can like send me a link as I'm trying to find it. If I fail to find it in time,
yeah, no problem.
More confident in what I'm about to say, but I remember certain parts of the news. Apparently, Activision filed 2 new trademarks for Crash that includes merchandising. So
toys.
The common stuff like shirts, clothing in general,
toys,
and even toys
that
aren't Skylanders figures.
Yeah.
So are we gonna get new fucking toys? Because I still have my Resource Crash. No, not Resource Crash. Resource Coco, and my bendable Carl's Jr. Crash figurine.
Yeah, are we actually going to get back some brand new Crash Bandicoot merchandise, and it's actually going to be on sale in public stores around the world that people can actually go into and shop and purchase for their kids? It'd be pretty awesome to see that come back in stores.
Totally.
And also many people are speculating and questioning if, not only for this remastered collection, but the future for Crash, what if they were to do a huge collector's edition that came with a collector's edition statue of Crash?
That would be awesome. I'd be all over that. We'd both be all over that.
Yeah, it would cost a lot of money, but it would definitely be worth it to put it in our collection. It'd be a lot bigger and a lot more beautiful looking to stand out compared to the Skylanders figure.
Yeah, I have to make more room. I would have to make more room because I'm looking at my little set over here right now, and there's like no room for anything else. I have so many freaking little figurines over here. Anyway, so other opinions besides just that? Everyone that we've seen in our little circle on Twitter is like, yeah, so this is what they can do. It's not exactly what they're going to do. And the one thing I hope is that they don't, whore themselves out with it like they do with Skylanders, because they've got freaking gift bags. You see them on, promoted on, like the family pack of like chips and all that. And then you've got like lamps and like lampshades and like whatever else, and it's like, is that really needed? Do you really need a Skylander? Are you gonna boast to people that you want a Skylanders lamp?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
oh, trust me, but you should look it up
please.
But bro, you should definitely look it up yourself on your free time on both Amazon and eBay. You'll see how ridiculous it is how much Skylanders merchandise they have outside of just their regular video game figures and toys. They have a lot more.
Oh god.
But also, there was one other tease regarding Crash that you gotta mention. It was in the PS4 commercial with the Aku Aku mask.
Ah! That's right. Thank you. See, I knew I was going to forget something.
And then also the poster. It was an official mask and a poster.
There was a poster. I didn't hear about the poster.
Yeah, that one.
I'll go over the mask. You go over the poster. You want to do that?
All right. Yeah.
So there was a recent PlayStation 4 ad that kind of combined little elements, of a bunch of other games. Being like Horizon Zero Dawn. I want to say Last Guardian was in there. I'm not sure. I'm not remembering correctly. But definitely for a brief, like, half a second, not even half a second, like maybe like a second and a half, or like almost 2 seconds, very, very short period of time, in the background of this one shot, you can see hanging on a wall an Aku Aku mask. And it looks very like primitive looking, and they made it look really like, it looks really cool. And it's like, how the hell do these people catch these references that are like there for like a second? And it's really cool. And it's like, okay, so that's there as a nice little, hey, Crash is back, that's awesome. But then they went one step further, and I haven't seen it yet, not all of it, but they made another little short where they actually gave that mask away to a freaking fan. I was like, dang, that's awesome, lucky dude.
I'm not going to go too much into detail about what he specifically said in the quote, especially due to the fact that my friend Jeremiah Isaiah already made a full video talking about PaRappa the Rapper 3 possibly coming to PS4. But they did say that, of course, everyone now wants me to bring up PaRappa the Rapper, but that's a more complex rights package. It's us being more open to Sony Computer Entertainment. But if someone comes to me with a property that we own that we want back on the platform and it's in my power to do so, then why wouldn't we? So what does that tell you? That yes, it is still a first-party franchise, that Sony owns it, and they honestly haven't done too much with it because they feel like the franchise has gotten underrated over the years and that many people forgot about it and it's not revolutionary anymore. But they said that since it is open and owned by Sony Computer Entertainment, it's up to us, the fans, and also them to get certain voice actors back, a new developer studio, as well as also license real-life certain hip-hop music songs in order to actually make the PaRappa the Rapper 3 project become a reality. So that was in 2014. In 2015, towards the end of the year, in December, what happened on PS4? On PSN, we ended up getting PaRappa the Rapper 2 remastered, and many people, believe it or not, actually got to experience the Rappin' Puppy Dog's adventure for the first time, because, believe it or not, when it comes to really old PS1 franchises that started like Crash, Spyro, and PaRappa, Ape Escape, you name it, many people who own PS4s in this generation honestly never played any of these franchises and grew up during the PS1 and PS2 era. So this is their first experience with PaRappa, and honestly, they loved it. They gave it a lot of positive feedback. They gave it great reviews. It got a lot of downloads, and many people were wondering, you know, what if they were to also remaster PaRappa 1 and Jermalami in the future, due to the fact that the PS2 is now backwards compatible with emulators on the PS4. So that was also a big speculation part. And now we're in the year 2016, and two things have happened for PaRappa this year. One is that towards the summertime, they actually ended up dropping shocking news out of nowhere that in order to celebrate PaRappa the Rapper's 20th anniversary in Japan, because in Japan it came out in 96, and worldwide, the rest of the world outside of Japan was 97, so technically we're not celebrating PaRappa's 20th till next year. But for Japan to celebrate it, since it's most popular and well-known there and loved more there than anywhere else in the world, they're getting a brand new PaRappa the Rapper anime series that's already debuting and already is being consistent every single week with brand new 90-second episodes that are running on Fuji television networks in Tokyo, Japan. And people so far gave it mostly decent and average feedback. People didn't say it was great. People didn't say, you know, it's a fantastic cartoon, because it is also shorts. It's not an original full, you know, 90-minute or even 20-minute cartoon from the 90s. So people said it was decent, but most of the fans agreed, and including myself, that the original first PaRappa the Rapper anime was a lot better, but this one is still good enough. And now that we're getting closer and closer, just literally one more week away from PlayStation Experience this year, we already got the dropped teases and hints as to the fact that PaRappa might actually be making a comeback and getting a brand new announcement at the conference on December 3rd, due to the fact that officially, Sony Computer Entertainment announced that there will be PaRappa the Rapper orange beanie hats like the one that I actually own myself, and a PaRappa the Rapper plushie that's going to be sold with a bunch of other first-party franchise mascot plushies are being officially sold as merchandise for fans to buy at the convention or online on their official website. So that's telling you, you know, why PaRappa of all characters, because, you know, this is Sony we're talking about after all. They own millions of characters. And why all of a sudden is PaRappa suddenly getting a lot more time to shine in the spotlight? What does that tell you? That they might secretly be hiding something. So honestly, we'll just have to wait and see. So far, that's all the teases that we have about PaRappa. Nothing else brand new yet, although you never know. Something might change in the future. We'll just have to wait and see, or we might get something else brand new in just a few days. We never know. However, there could be, most likely, a guarantee announcement for either PaRappa the Rapper 3, or what I think might actually end up happening first is a PaRappa the Rapper HD collection similar to Crash Bandicoot. Because if we already have PaRappa the Rapper 2 remastered from PSN on the PS4, then all Sony has to do is then either remaster or remake it from the ground up, similar to what they're doing with the Crash HD collection with PaRappa 1 and Jermalami, and there you go. At 1080p, 60 frames per second, with trophy support and maybe some new cutscenes as well as new challenges and new songs here and there. You never know. There could be some big surprises. And due to the fact that we're actually going to be celebrating PaRappa's 20th next year, either this PlayStation experience or next year's official E3 conference, get ready, guys, because all I can say is, you gotta believe!
I swear to God, if they say, like, they... In any scenario, either if there was a third game or if they remastered these two, I swear, if they make it look like the way, you know, they animated PaRappa and everything in PlayStation All-Stars, that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because it looked really, really good. It looked so good.
Yeah, his design in PlayStation
All-Stars.
Yeah, his design in PlayStation All-Stars was a more HD redesign of his original design from PaRappa 1, but it still looked amazing. And honestly, they don't really have to tweak much on the PlayStation 4 because it would mostly be the same design because it's very small to work with. And also his design, remember people, he's paper thin flat like Paper Mario, so you don't have to give him a completely different redesign like other certain video game characters. So honestly, just make him look a lot more shiny and just make him have a lot more in terms of personality with attitude, as well as also being a nice guy that always helps out his friends and people in need. And then there you go. I mean, obviously it's going to take a lot of work for Sony to find a new developer studio because Nana Onsha is exclusive to Sony Computer Entertainment Japan now, and they've moved on and they don't want to go back to PaRappa. So they'd have to find a new developer studio. They'd have to get into contact with all the original voice actors, including Dread Fox himself, if he's still open to the PaRappa the Rapper 3 project, because he has still been talking about it recently on his Twitter and Facebook pages, as well as also have to get some new rappers in today's society generation to record brand new licensed tracks for the game. They also have to figure out a really good plot. They also have to think of, you know, those wacky, classic 90s cartoon animated cutscenes. They also have to, you know, do a lot of recording at the studio because it has a lot of voice acting and a lot of humor. So there's going to be a lot. And it also needs to sell well from the fans because as much as we love other franchises like Crash and Spyro and all these other ones out here, when it comes to PaRappa, unfortunately, it fell off after the first game, where around that time the spin-off from Jeremy and PaRappa 2 honestly only sold in the thousands, not even close to the millions. So for PaRappa 3 to happen, either millions of fans are going to buy it just because they've been waiting for this game so long, or many people who don't even know PaRappa, who played PaRappa 2, are going to become fans themselves of this franchise and actually really enjoy it, and then buy it just because they're interested in it to see if it's actually a really good franchise and game.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit about Ape Escape, because there's not a whole lot, not as much as there is for PaRappa to talk about for Ape Escape making an appearance, but it's still very much possible, and there were some interesting things that I found that I shared with you, and I'm pretty sure those are the things you were planning to share here, right?
Yeah. So now it's Ape Escape's turn to hit the spotlight time. So let's talk about Ape Escape. Okay, so for the Ape Escape franchise, another classic first-party franchise owned by Sony that's pretty underrated, that hasn't had a new game in almost a full decade. And what's going on with it? Well, for those who don't know, originally, back in 2006, after Sony released Ape Escape 3 worldwide, and it was mostly decent. I'm not going to get too much into detail about the backstory about that, but you could just look it up if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about. But after Ape Escape 3's official release, Sony did in fact confirm and say that they would make an Ape Escape 4 project. Now, I can't show you the full proof evidence photo, but there was an ad back in Tokyo, Japan, released in a magazine for video games showing, and I really, really wish I had the proof to show off to you guys this, but just hear me out. In the ad, it was Pippo monkeys from the franchise, and they were all holding up signs showing off the title screens of every single game in the original trilogy, 1, 2, and 3 of Ape Escape. But then there was a fourth Pippo monkey at the end holding up a sign that had question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, and people were wondering, you know, if you're teasing 1, 2, and 3, then obviously what comes next? Ape Escape 4. So Sony, from that ad, confirmed that eventually, at some point in the future, they would actually go back to that franchise and make Ape Escape 4. However, during the whole PS3 era, there wasn't any brand new Ape Escape games besides that one spin-off Ape Escape game, which was PlayStation Move Ape Escape, which was pretty much a reboot of the entire series, and it got really negative feedback just because it was a motion control Ape Escape game and fans were getting upset. At Ape Escape 4, we wanted a real 3D platforming Ape Escape game with all the original characters like Spike, the Professor, and Natalie. We don't want this. And then shortly after that, what happened next with Ape Escape? In 2012, Spike ended up being a playable character and also PaRappa's rival in PlayStation All-Stars. So then people speculated about that franchise coming to PS3. Unfortunately, no other big titles besides PlayStation Move Ape Escape. Although, now that we're officially in the PlayStation 4 era, now they're starting to speculate the fact that Ape Escape might make a return, especially due to the fact that at the very beginning of this year, in January, Sony officially teased from Sony Computer Entertainment Japan on Twitter, showing off that they actually had someone in their official headquarters office at the front entrance dress up in a Pippo Monkey costume and pretend that they're walking through the hallways. And in the title quote from the tweet, it said specifically, "It's the year of the monkey in Japan. What a coincidence. But now it's time to get to work." So what does that secretly mean? Well, due to the fact that in Japan this year, it was the year of the monkey, and due to the fact that they did promise years ago that they would make a 4th installment in the Ape Escape franchise, that means that they could finally start getting to work on the sequel that they promised literally 10 years ago from now. So now, whether it be production work or actually starting to develop it, we don't know yet which one has started. However, regarding PlayStation Experience, if Ape Escape makes an appearance, there's two possibilities. One, due to the fact that Japan Studios, the official original developers who made Ape Escape 1, 2, and 3, are actually going to be showing up at the conference with their little time to chat to the audience and show off their new big budget projects. And we obviously know that their biggest one at the moment is Last Guardian, that they're still trying to develop to make sure that it hits worldwide release date at the beginning of next year. So, of course, they're going to talk about Last Guardian again. And, however, they could also mention the possibility of an Ape Escape announcement for that franchise to return. And also, due to the fact that you actually helped also retweet this, and I didn't even know this at first, but on Twitter again, from the president CEO in charge of PlayStation, Shahio Yoshida, on his Twitter page, he actually teased at least 2 photos of someone dressed up again in a Pippo Monkey costume, and they were going through concept art of the original ideas they had in mind for Ape Escape 1, and that started to make a lot more fans speculate and wonder, Ape Escape 4? Maybe an Ape Escape HD collection? And there is also one more thing I want to mention, because back in October, and this is something that came out of the blue, similar to how Ape Escape 2 actually ended up getting a remastered port back in August 2nd of this year, is that before Ape Escape 2 got officially announced to get a port from PS2 to PS4 on August 2nd, back a week later, officially it got leaked from Sony themselves that they actually had the full trophy list of the game already planned and shown off to the public, and that made people wonder, is it actually going to end up getting ported and emulated on PS4? And then 1 week later, on August 2nd, look at that, it actually ended up being confirmed true, and it actually happened. And now, back in October, the official ESRB rating system actually already gave Ape Escape 3 an E10 rating, because that's what the original PS2 classic from 2006 was rated, and that was making people question if Ape Escape 3 is eventually going to get an HD remastered port from PS2 to PS4 as well. And honestly, I think it actually will. So whether it be the announcement for Ape Escape 3 getting an HD port on PS4 after the conference is finished, whether it be an Ape Escape HD collection of 1, 2, and 3, similar to Crash, or whether it be the true game and sequel that we've been waiting so many years for this underrated franchise to come back, Ape Escape 4. One way or another, I guarantee all three of these franchises, Crash, PaRappa, and Ape Escape, secretly something is being hidden and worked on behind the scenes at Sony's headquarters worldwide, and we're just going to have to wait until PlayStation Experience to hear more and see it for ourselves.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much the extent of the Crash, Ape Escape, and PaRappa stuff, news, and speculation. Of course, those are the things that we're most hyped about. Now the rest of the podcast is mainly just speculation of what else can be shown outside of what we're hyped for and hoping for, because there's still a lot that can happen. There's still some stuff that I'm hyped for that's not the main big ones like Crash and all that. So the one thing I want to lead off on is that was a weird way to phrase that. Anyway, I talked about Medieval and how
it could get a reboot.
Special about Medieval, and I was talking about how it'd be cool if it got a reboot, because I think its 20th anniversary comes in 2018, same with Spyro, and it just had this charm to it. I remember playing it through the demo discs and stuff when I was a kid, but I never owned it like a physical copy of the game.
Yeah.
And I very recently got it digitally on the PS3 through the PlayStation Store, so I've been playing it, and it's as good as I remember it to be, and it's awesome. So I had done, I guess link down below if you haven't seen it, to one of my videos, link to that discussion video where I talked about Medieval and how it should get a reboot. Now the thing is, something I also want to mention is, there also linked down below is a link to a list of developers that will be showing up to PlayStation Experience.
Yep. Developers and publishers.
I'm only going to name off a couple of them. So there's a big list. So I'm only name off some that you know and whatever else. So we got obviously Activision, Bandai Namco, Capcom, Devolver Digital, Double Fine, EA, Guerrilla Games. We might see some Horizon stuff. Some like very last, bits of info for Horizon, since it's coming out sometime early next year. Naughty Dog, which is exciting me because they didn't show off anything. They weren't even there at E3. I was thinking maybe they'll show off some Uncharted 4 DLC, or maybe even tease a new project in the works, but they weren't even there. Insomniac was, and they showed off Spider-Man. That surprised us as well.
Yeah.
Now it's the other way around. I don't see Insomniac in this list at all, so they might not be making an appearance. But now we've got Naughty Dog and Activision and Sony all in the same room.
Yeah.
Seeing as obviously it's for PlayStation. So that's what strengthens our hope of, seeing something for Crash or seeing whatever else, and hopefully seeing something new from Naughty Dog, if not just some, simply some more Uncharted stuff. Ubisoft, San Diego Studio, WB Games, Supergiant Games. We also got, let me see, Berserk Studio, Blue Mammoth Games. What else?
Double Fine Studios.
Double Fine. I said Double Fine already. Impulse Gear. Metalhead Software. There's a bunch. There's a lot. So if you want to see all of them, there'll be a link down below.
There's still a
list.
There's still a few more that are actually not even shown or confirmed on that list yet. So there's still a few more that are actually going to be saved for some big surprises.
Yeah. There's a lot of developers. Is there anything else that you wanted to throw in? There's a couple. There's, I think, 2 that I could throw in real quick. There's 2 more I can throw in.
All right, go right ahead.
Okay. First and foremost, like I was saying, like I mentioned earlier, Horizon Zero Dawn. So seeing as we've got Guerrilla Games showing up, no doubt we're going to be getting some more Horizon Zero Dawn stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen like every single thing they've put out, but I've seen a lot of one of my earlier speculations on West Side Studios on our review show Trash Talk with my friend Weston.
Yeah.
One of the things I was speculating about was, maybe you can hijack the robots, and that one really big one, I don't know if it has an official name right now or anything, but there's that big long neck one with the freaking disc shaped head. I was like, will she interact with that at all? Because in all the trailers and gameplay videos I ever saw before, one of the more recent ones, she never interacted with that robot. Well, come the PS4 Pro, reveal conference and all that stuff, that press event they had not too long ago, they showed off some new footage of it running in 4K with the HDR, I think it's called, stuff and all that. They showed off a new trailer, and she was interacting with that robot, and she like rewired it and had it walk off in another direction to go and do whatever she was making it do. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that we're gonna get some more gameplay. Maybe it'll be available on the show floor.
Yeah.
And seeing as it's coming out, this might be like the last appearance it makes in a presentation. Anything else that comes out after might just be like smaller, like minute or two trailers, 1 minute, 2 minute trailers. I'm thinking so. It apparently comes out at the very, very, very end of February next year, and it's really funny because people were speculating, and it was apparently quote unquote leaked that the Crash remasters were going to come out
in February. That same month. But now there were brand new rumors that surfaced on the web speculating the fact that the official release date for the remastered collection ended up being delayed to early March. And keep in mind, nothing is officially confirmed yet at this point. Sony and Activision and Vicarious Visions have confirmed nothing and haven't said anything regarding the remastered collection other than the announcement at E3. So until PlayStation Experience, we're going to have to wait and hopefully see if they give us an official release date for early 2017.
Yeah. Also with that video game voiceover strike going on and all that stuff, like the remasters were impacted by that. So amongst all the other games that were impacted as well. So who's to say what's going to happen? And I think we might have talked about that already. I'm not remembering at the moment. So there's a lot that's going on in that department.
Mm-hmm.
But back again in terms of Horizon, I'm thinking that this will be the last time it makes an appearance at a convention or event or something like that of the sort. And anything else we get from here on out will most likely be smaller, like TV spots and like those kinds of trailers where it's just like very small trailers. Shows off some gameplay, whatever else. Maybe not much that we haven't already seen. If they have anything else really big up their sleeves, they can possibly show it here. But besides that, that's all I'm thinking about for Horizon. The last thing I have to mention, if there's anything else last minute that you want to mention, we're pretty much almost at the end. So the last thing I wanted to mention was that as far as I can see, there won't be any Kojima presence here.
Hideo Kojima, they mentioned that.
Yeah. Which is pretty unfortunate because I want to see more about Death Stranding. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, because that announcement back
really
at E3 looked amazing, and that's the closest we're ever getting to that canceled PT project.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want to hear more, I want to see more. There's been nothing since that trailer at E3, so, what I'm hoping for is, what I was hoping for initially was that, he would come up and, talk about it, or, show off, like, another cinematic. I have no idea what he's, really thinking about, like, how much more will he show? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, like, what is he thinking? It's just more of, like, when's he going to show off some more, or how is he going to show off more? Will it be another cinematic trailer, or will it actually be gameplay?
Yeah.
Or how much info will we get about the character, about Norman Reedus' character, or what's going on? Because that freaking trailer was quite a trip. So,
yeah.
Who knows what's going on in this world? So I want to know more. And it doesn't mean, just because we don't see him in this list, doesn't mean he's not going to show up, but
yeah, watch him out of nowhere just show up on stage and be like, "Oh, you thought you got rid of me? You thought I wasn't going to show up
Max
here?"
Music.
Yeah, I got a VIP guest certificate lounge.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, because remember, back at E3 this year, it was a big shocker to everybody that he came out of nowhere on stage, because many people thought that Kojima wasn't going to show up, especially due to the fact that the whole little argument that happened with his split between him and Konami after Metal Gear Solid 5. So many people were thinking, has he moved on? Is he going to still make games, but he's trying to get together his own little developer studio? So at E3, it was a big shocker that he came out of nowhere and people cheered and were so happy to see him again.
Yeah. So, I'm only talking about, like, the no Kojima appearance. That's very, very, like, tentative right now. And that's just because that's from what I'm seeing. As far as I'm aware, seeing as Kojima Productions isn't in that lineup, initially was like, well, what if he doesn't make an appearance? But there's always totally the chance of him showing up, and it'd be cool because I want to see more about Death Stranding. So that's all I have on this list. Is there anything last minute you want to mention before we sign off?
The only final words that I want to say to everyone watching this video is the fact that you should keep your expectations up really high. You should be really anticipated and excited for the conference. Both me and Mark are going to be watching this conference live on Skype on December 3rd. For December 4th, the second day, honestly, it's just going to be developers at Sony headquarters from around the world just going to interview all these developers and publishers to talk about the big announcements that we got a day earlier from their big press conference, so I'm not going to be too interested in that. It's mainly the conference itself to see what announcements happen and what announcements don't happen, and then eventually people get into the juicier parts when they actually get to go to the show floor and actually play out some of the beta demos that are available to all the gamers to try out. So December 3rd, we're both definitely going to be watching it live. You're going to see all our live reactions to some of the biggest and best announcements, and they're obviously going to be recorded and uploaded onto our separate YouTube channels because we're going to freak out as to what happened, similar to the whole giant Crash announcement at E3 this year. And in terms of these top 3 franchises, Crash Bandicoot, PaRappa the Rapper, and Ape Escape, keep your fingers crossed, keep your expectations up high, and get anticipated. And just remember that even if all 3 of these franchises don't make an appearance at this conference, don't lose all faith and hope, don't get upset, and don't attack us thinking that we're confirming this. Just remember that this is just us speculating, and keep in mind, there's always next year with a brand new E3 conference as well as a brand new PlayStation Experience conference. So just keep your expectations up high and keep your fingers crossed and be happy with what we get instead of what we don't get.
Yeah, totally. So, with that said, I'm Marcelo.
And I'm Gman Rocks.
And we'll see you guys later. Take care.
Peace out.